Yellow. I had to. I don't want to say cut the spice trade video short because it was like 45 minutes, but there were a couple pictures I didn't get to because I had a neighbor yelling for me, so I ran out. But here, Portugal claimed the Indian Ocean as Samar Clausen during the Age of Discovery, which they see under the jurisdiction of a single nation and not open to all others. Okay, cool. Good for them. Marta India, Marta Ethiopia, Ethiopia, Mar del Sur, Spanish. Great, great, great. And also this picture, one of the Borobudur ships from the 8th century. These were depictions of large Javanese outrigger vessels, one is shown here with the characteristic Sanja sail of the Southeast Asian Austronesians. Okay, Tanja sail. Sorry, I'm eating a block of cheese. I don't think my mic is strong enough to pick up really annoying mouth sounds, but if it does, oh well. Anyway, this video I wanted to just kind of hop around. You know, they're basically everything here, all the hyperlinks I could like really read a lot on, but I don't want to. I just want to kind of flip around, see some interesting stuff. So let's look at Kingdom of Axum. Axum. Yeah, this is another long one. Look at that. We're just gonna read the first couple paragraphs and then probably look at some pictures. The Kingdom of Axum, which we've got this here in the Aramaic. Oh yeah, Ge'ez. Ge'ez? I forget how it's pronounced, but in the Aramaic script. Um, Also known as the Kingdom of Axum, the city-state of Axum, or the Axumite Empire, was a kingdom in East Africa, looks like the Eritrea, Ethiopia area, um, and South Arabia from classical antiquity to the Middle Ages, based in what is now northern Ethiopia and Eritrea, nailed it, and spanning present-day Djibouti and Sudan. It extended at its height into much of southern Arabia during the reign of Caleb. Caleb? Okay. King of Axum. Maybe he's got a short article. Axum served as the kingdom's capital for many centuries, but relocated to Jarma in the 19th century due to declining trade connections and recurring external invasions. Emerging from the earlier Demit civilization, the kingdom was founded in 150 BC. It is not known whether a war of succession took place between competing states for control of the region after the fall of Demit evolved to the kingdom of Axum. Demit was a kingdom located in Eritrea and northern Ethiopia between 10th and 5th centuries BC. Cool. As the kingdom became a major power on the trade route between Rome and India, and gained a monopoly of Indian Ocean trade, it entered the Greco-Roman cultural sphere. Greek became the official and literary language of the Axumite state, coming from the influence of the significant Ethiopian Greek communities established in Axum, the port of Adulis Ptolemais Theron, and other cities in the region during Ptolemaic times. Greek was used in the state's administration, international diplomacy, and trade. It can be widely seen in coinage and inscriptions. That's fascinating. Ge'ez, the language of the Agazi people, the language of the Agazi people was spoken alongside Greek in the court of Axum. Although during the early kingdom Ge'ez was a spoken language, it has attestations written in Sabaic script. Okay. In the 4th century, Ezana of Aksum promoted to the Ge'ez script and made Ge'ez an official state language alongside Greek. By the 6th century, literary translations into Ge'ez were common. After the 7th century Muslim conquests in the Middle East and North Africa, the 7th century's Muslim conquests in the Middle East and North Africa, which effectively isolated Axum from the Greco-Roman world, Ge'ez replaced Greek entirely. Due to its ties with the Greco-Roman world, the Kingdom of Axum adopted Christianity as the state religion in the mid-4th century under Ezana of Axum. Following their Christianization, the Axumites ceased construction of a stele, or occasionally stela, when derived from Latin, is a stone or wooden slab. I've read this. Where did I read this before? What? I think I used to play every single day. I used to play Worldle and Stadle and yeah, I did Global too. Well, Worldle, if you don't know it, it's evolved a lot in its time. Nowadays, you are given, well, it's always had the same fundamental thing, but they've built on it. You're given a silhouette of a country, and you have to guess what the country is. And it can be tricky sometimes, but after a while, you kind of just memorize what every single country silhouette looks like, and you can get it in like one or two tries. Um, but then it'll ask you after you like get the country, it quizzes you on some other like countries it touches or trivia of the country, like what currency they use, their population, what a famous feature of the country is, and then it goes in. You can take other quizzes by them, like where taken, where it's basically GeoGuessr, but it uses pictures from Wikipedia articles, and all throughout this game, it links the Wikipedia articles that it takes stuff from, and basically, I used to play that game every day and follow the Wikipedia links and just like look at all different stuff. And I think I remember seeing the Stele in that somehow. Like I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I don't remember. I think I followed it there. But that's a fun game if you want to learn a lot of useless information. Which whatever. Why else would I be reading Wikipedia articles? Speaking of which, I don't really feel like there's much more for me to read in this article without like really reading all of it. So I'm not gonna. But here's some pictures. Aksumite currency. So the Aksumites again, they formed potentially after the fall of the Demid civilization in the 9th century. No, around 150 BC, I guess. Um, Big trade route in modern day Djibouti, northern Ethiopia, or sorry, Eritrea, northern Ethiopia. And they were big in the trade route between Rome and India because they passed right through this peninsula. Um, that is the Arabian Peninsula and the northeast African coast. And eventually, like they had Greek, like Greek was the lingua franca, which is interesting. Um, even down in Africa, which I know the Roman Empire and all had quite a span, but that's Rome, so whatever, different stuff. Anyway, fascinating. In Axumite Stela, which I guess if we didn't actually read what it is, it's like a shoot darn, now I have it open, so whatever. It's like a commemorative thing. Um, Here, I just read this in. When derived from Latin, it is a stone or wooden slab, generally taller than it is wide, erected in the ancient world as a monument. So that's an Axumite one. Cool. Saint Elesban, king of Axum. He looks cool. He looks cool. Gonna take a bite of my cheese. He's holding a little dollhouse. Isn't that cute? Saint Elesban again, subjugating, subjugating the Himyarites. Oh, and he's holding a house again. That must kind of be his thing. Is he holding a banner over here? No. 14th century Islamic portrayal of the first Hijrah. The Axumites declined the Qurayshi request to give up their Muslim refugees. Ruins. Ruins are so cool. Dungar ruins with the Gudit Stele field immediately beyond it. Right here, I'm guessing. I shouldn't have clicked. I clicked. Great, it's a high quality picture, so it takes forever to load. Yeah, look at those stele. Oh, look, that's a person. Crazy that people just be living right next to this. My pictures. Okay. More ruins, more ruins. Very cool. An obelisk. The Ge'ez script in the Garima Gospels. No, that's a beautiful drawing. That's so mean. I apologize if I have any listeners, and if you are listening while writing, I'm not really describing these things. Um, Here's coins of a king, an Axumite king, and it's got Greek inscriptions. They're gold. A pretty cathedral. That's a modern cathedral. A large obelisk in Ethiopia. Quite narrow. I don't know how it's still standing. Another obelisk. Or is that a stela? Obelisk. Another stela, but it's broken. Man, this thing was like obelisk size. That thing was tall. Like that's got to be 70 some feet. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, this obelisk was taken from the Axum Empire, I guess, and then returned to Ethiopia. Cute little water spouts in the shape of lion heads. Okay, I wanted to real quickly take a look at who was it? Ezana of Axum. Ezana was the ruler of the kingdom of Axum from in the 320s to 360 AD. One of the best documented rulers of Axum, Ezana is important as he is the country's first king to embrace Christianity and make it the official religion. Tradition states that Ezana succeeded his father Ella Amida Osanas as king while still a child, but his mother Sophia then served as regent until he came of age. And that's actually short enough that I might as well read through real quick. His reign. Ezana was the first monarch of the kingdom of Axum to embrace Christianity, after his slave teacher Frumetius converted him. He was the first monarch after Zoskales to be mentioned by contemporary historians, a situation that led Stewart Munro Hay to comment that he was, quote, the most famous of the Axumite kings before Caleb, end quote. In early life, he considered himself a son of Ares, but later inscriptions show a growing attachment to Christianity. His childhood tutor, the Syrian Christian Frumentius, which we've got this cute little picture of him, a Phoenician Christian missionary and the first bishop of Axum who brought Christianity to the kingdom of Axum, sometimes known by other names such as Abuna and Abba Salama. So it says he was a missionary there, but a slave, his slave teacher. Okay, interesting dynamic. So that childhood teacher, Frumentius, became the head of the Ethiopian church. And Ethiopia still is a very Christian country. Orthodox, I think. A surviving letter from the Arian Roman Emperor Constantius II is addressed to Ezana and his brother Saizana and requests that Frumentius be sent to Alexandria to be examined for doctrinal errors and be replaced by Theophilus the Indian. Munro Hay, that historian, assumes that Ezana either refused or ignored this request. Understandably so. He was friends, I guess. Ezana also launched several military campaigns, good Christian, which he recorded in his inscriptions. A pair of inscriptions on a stela in Ge'ez found at Meroe, I don't know how that's pronounced, Meroe with the umlauts on it, Meroe, is thought of as evidence of a campaign in the 4th century, either during Ezana's reign or by a predecessor like Osanas. While some authorities interpret these inscriptions as proof that the Axumites destroyed the kingdom of Meru, others I think that's supposed to say that archaeological evidence points to an economic and political decline in Meru around 300. Moreover, some view the stela as military aid from Axum to Meru to quell the revolt and rebellion by the Nuba. However, conclusive evidence and proof as to which view is correct is not currently available. On some of the Aksumite coins minted during Ezana's reign appears the motto in Greek. I don't know Greek. I'm reading this as, yeah, let me not even try. It translates to, "May this please the country," the motto. Munrohe, the historian, comments that this motto is, quote, "a rather attractive peculiarity of Aksumite coinage, giving a feeling of royal concern and responsibility towards the people's wishes and contentment," end quote. A number of coins minted bearing his name were found in the late 1990s at archaeological sites in India, indicating trade contacts in that country. A remarkable feature of the coins is a shift from a pagan motif with disc and crescent to a design with a cross. Ezana is also credited for erecting several stelae and obelisks. An inscription in Greek gives the regnal claims of Ezana, quote, "I, Ezana, king of the kingdom of Axuma and Himyarites, and of Redon, and of the Ethiopians, and of the Sabites, and of Silel, and of Hassa, and of the Bogites, and of Timo, dot dot dot." A Greek, quote, "a Greek inscription of Ezana." Ezana is unknown in the king lists, even though the coin bears this name. According to tradition, Emperors Abreha and Asbeha ruled Ethiopia when Christianity was introduced. Interesting. That's according to tradition. It may be that these names were later applied to Ezana and his brother, or that these were their baptismal names. Okay. Veneration. Along with his brother Sison, Ezana is regarded as a saint by the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church and Catholic Church, with a feast day on the 1st of October and on the 27th of October. Interesting. Cool. The stuff you learn. And let me also real quick look at Kaleb. He was the other one I wanted to see. Kaleb, also known as Saint Elisban, was king of Aksum, which was situated in modern-day Eritrea and Ethiopia. Procopius of Caesarea was a prominent late antique Greek scholar and historian from Caesarea Maritima. Accompanying the Roman general Belisarius in Emperor Justinian's wars, Procopius became the principal Roman historian of the 6th century, writing history of the wars and some other things. Procopius calls him Helistheus, a variant of the Koine Greek. A variant of the Koine Greek, which it then gives Koine Greek version of his regnal name. Regnal. Okay, that's a reign name. I did not know that. Okay. Version of his regnal name, which it then gives in Ge'ez. Great. Okay. So yeah, Procopius calls him Helistheus. Variants of his name are Helistheus, Elistheus, Elshach, Elisboas, Elisban, and Elisbon. At Axum, in inscription RIE 191, which I'm sure means something to someone, must be a catalog system, his name is rendered in unvocalized Ge'ez as KLBLSBHWLDTZN, or Kaleb Ela Asbecha, son of Tazena. In vocalized Ge'ez, it is then written out in Ge'ez. Kaleb Ela Asbecha, I don't know. Kaleb, a name derived from the biblical character Caleb, was his given name. On both his coins and inscriptions he left at Axum, as well as Ethiopian hagiographical sources and king lists, he refers to himself as the son of Tazena. Now let's go ahead. Life. Procopius, John of Ephesus, and other contemporary historians recount Caleb's invasion of Yemen around 520 against the Himyarite king Yusuf As'ar Yatar, known as Duhnuas, a Jewish convert who was persecuting the Christian community of Najran. After much fighting, Caleb's soldiers eventually routed Yusuf's forces and killed the king, allowing Caleb to appoint Sumyafa Ashwa, a native Christian named Esemiphios by Procopius, as his viceroy of Himyar. As a result of his protection of the Christians, Caleb is known as Saint Elisban after the 16th century Cardinal Caesar. Yeah, after this 16th century Cardinal Caesar Baronius added him to his edition of Roman Martyrology, despite him being a Miaphysite. Miaphysite, which is a Miaphysite is the Christological doctrine that holds Jesus, the incarnate word, is fully divine and fully human in one nature. It is a position held by the Oriental Orthodox churches and differs from the Chalcedonian positions that Jesus is one person and two. Oh, so it's heresy? I don't know. Axumite control of Arabia Felix, Latin name to describe South Arabia and Yemen. Axumite control of Arabia Felix continued until about 525, when Sumyafa Ashwa was deposed by Abraha, who made himself king. Procopius states that Caleb made several unsuccessful attempts to recover his overseas territory. However, his successor later negotiated a peace with Abraha, where Abraha acknowledged the Axumite king's authority and paid tribute. Let me see if there's anything else worth reading here. Ethiopian tradition states that Caleb eventually abdicated his throne, gave his crown to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, I forget how that's pronounced, at Jerusalem, and retired to a monastery. Later historians who recount the events of King Caleb's reign include Ibn Hisham, Ibn Ishaq, and Al-Tabari. Tadisi Tamrad records a tradition he heard from an aged priest in Lalibela, who that says, Caleb was a man of Lasta, and his palace was at Bugna, where it is known that Gebre Meskel Lalibela. I don't feel like this is all important. Great, he was an old king. There's this guy that likes to hold that and subjugates the, Haryada? Something like that. The Himyarite. Great, that's that. Yeah, we're going to call that all. Boy.